The Green Bay Packers should sign Baker Mayfield. Here's why. I recently found out the Denver Broncos hired Packers OC Nathaniel Hackett to be their next head coach. But come on, take the field goal, take the point. Win the game.
Oh, you have to take that.
See you all. Well, on Ruffing the Passer, show where I talk football, miscellaneous stuff, and mostly football. I'm your host, Sam Ruffing. And it's plainly obvious to everyone that the Browns are going to have to move on from quarterback Baker Mayfield. That was made clear when they traded for Deshaun Watson, who was highly controversial, and doing so eliminated half their fan base, alienated, excuse me. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about where Baker Mayfield could go and where I would think the perfect destination would be. Now, when Deshaun Watson. Now, when Deshaun Watson was traded to the Cleveland Browns, Baker obviously, and rightly so, demanded a trade out of Cleveland. And the places he demanded to go was Indianapolis. And I thought, along with a lot of other people, that Baker Mayfield would be sent to the Colts, as they were a team that was a quarterback away and are still looking for the franchise guy. And Baker Mayfield, who is only 27, I think, who is going to be 27, was a former first overall pick and led the Browns to the playoffs in some decent years. Would have been a perfect fit for Indianapolis, but they didn't. They sent Matt Ryan they traded for Matt Ryan as a shock to me and pretty much a lot of people. And so then the question became, where is he going to go now? The rumors have been flying as of late that the Browns are going to cut Baker Mayfield. However, they haven't. And another rumor came up that they were working on a deal with the Panthers, but that hasn't gone through, and it doesn't look like it's going to go through. So I'm wondering what's up with that. Now, if Baker's cut, Seattle said they would jump on him, which is a shame because then they would just be throwing Drew Lock in the trash, which my Drew Lock fan heart cannot stand that. It's truly a shame. But Baker, but the Panthers and Seahawks, the most likely options, what everyone agrees on basically. That or Baker, who's should have a massive market as a young quarterback who's a first overall pick, somehow doesn't. Probably because they're paying him the team would have to pay him $18 million a year, and there are like hardly any quarterback spots. So the theory is that he's either going to be so if he was cut, he would either go to a lowly team where he could start and maybe win some games, maybe convince another contract, or he would go the Jameis Winston route, who had previous success, as a Buck first overall pick, but didn't last there due to some maturity issues and not getting what the team wanted, kind of like Baker. And so he went to New Orleans and sat under Drew Brees for a year and then took over and was doing well. That's what everyone thinks Baker could do, like go to Tampa and back up Tom Brady. But I was having this think a few days ago, like where would be the perfect spot? Green Bay. And here's why. First of all, Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback. We know that. Well, he's average at the very least. And he just had success in Cleveland, which is a dysfunctional franchise, as we've just seen with Deshaun Watson, has been proven over and over again. 4 head coaches, and played through an injury last year. Not to mention he set the record for rookie touchdown passes, which was broken by Justin Herbert. But he led Cleveland to a playoff win as well, which is hugely impressive. He's young, talented. He's got a heckin' confidence. And in Green Bay, they have a stable foundation like, unlike Cleveland. They're pretty much the exact opposite of Cleveland, it feels like. They only have had one head coach since 2019, who's great, Matt LaFleur. GM's good. The roster's good, just like Cleveland. When Baker had success, it was a run game. They're a run game first, play action off of that. And so Baker would fit the scheme. The coach would be perfect for him. He could learn from Aaron Rodgers if Baker wants help. He could always ask Rodgers for stuff. Rodgers would, I'm sure, would be happy to. And here's why it would make sense from Green Bay's side. So Aaron Rodgers, as I'm sure you've all been aware, has been on this, maybe I'll retire, maybe I won't retire, maybe I'll want it out of here, blah, 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 for the last 2 years. And he just signed a contract for 3 years, and then which you'd think would keep him in Green Bay. But the GM of Green Bay says it's not a 3-year contract, it's 3 one-year contracts, where every year we're going to be like, is Aaron Rodgers going to retire or not? He's already mad at the front office for drafting Jordan Love. And he talked about it. He talked about retirement at the match in 2022, where he said, I think about retirement every day. I could probably just retire. So he's thinking about retirement already. The seeds are planted. But he's only 38, 39. And he's still great. But if he retires next year, well, obviously the Packers would be good. So if you brought in a young quarterback like Baker, you wouldn't have to worry about drafting a quarterback next year. You could just re-sign Baker. And it's not like you're going to get a quarterback next year, because with how good the Packers are, they're not going to be in position for a Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud or whoever else is available at quarterback, because next year is a good class, but I don't think many are going to fall all the way down to Green Bay, wherever they're picking, late 20s. He would be good there. The personality issue would not be a problem, not be a huge problem for Green Bay, seeing as they've dealt with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers the last 20... How long have they dealt with? 20, 30 years, basically. The last 30 years, I dealt with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. And I know it's not exactly, going from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, but that's unrealistic. It's an exception to the rule. And so Baker Mayfield would be a good replacement. I mean, he thrived in Cleveland with 4 head coaches in 4 years. Lousy ownership, some good GMs. I mean, a good GM in Andrew Berry, but he hates him. He didn't have any weapons. He was injured last year. If he goes to Green Bay, he's going to have a decent GM. Weapons might be an issue, but he has a run game. And he has one of the best coaches in the NFL, Matt LaFleur, who would bring the best out of him. And just the stability of being in Green Bay would help so much. I think it would have a Matthew Stafford-like effect on Baker Mayfield. Think about it. But Matthew Stafford last year, or 2 years ago, spent his entire career in Detroit, being decent, leading the team to the playoffs a few times. But everyone's like, I don't know. He's kind of meh. He's good. He's good. He just hasn't made the playoff. I mean, he hasn't won in a playoff game. And then he left Detroit and won a Super Bowl. And you saw how good Matthew Stafford could really be. Baker Mayfield played in Cleveland the last 4 years, a worse organization in overall history than the Lions. I mean, not since the 60s, but not in the 60s, but like a worse organization, won a playoff game, unlike Matt Stafford, was first overall pick, who's been wasted there. Not wasted, but, his first overall pick. If he were to, and people said he's getting kind of disappointing, but he did that with the Browns. If he were to go to Green Bay, who knows what he could do. Those are my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think in the comments, if I'm crazy, if I'm not crazy. I guess the time for talking is over.